And you're still watching Prime Morning. This news flash segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still and still, phone papa PFE, whatever gadget you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, worry no more because we've got you covered. We can actually deliver to you at your doorstep. To make things very simple, just download the app on your phone, which is a Franco Trading app. And when you download it, it's easy for you to be able to purchase the item of your choice and we deliver it to you. For further inquiries, visit our website, which is www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone papa PFE. Let's quickly do what the newspapers are reporting for this morning. And I'll start with the Today newspaper. Today newspaper, private equity financing in Ghana, trends, challenges, and regional comparisons. Eric Nana Nipa's retirement celebration or evasion. You can find the story on page 2 of the Today newspaper. Prioritize Ghanaians in allocation of mining consortiums or 2-4 to government. And NPP delegates OK 54 motions expand electoral college for presidential primary. And this will be our main topic for discussion this morning. The next newspaper is the Overseer newspaper. The Overseer. Brian receives a rousing welcome at NPP delegates conference. NPP aspirants accused Nana B of busing non-delegates to chair Baumia at conference. ADB board holds maiden meeting as MD unveils strategic vision. Now, talking about this allegation that is coming against Nana B, there was also a video circulating where some members were not too happy and the way he was spoken to was not in the right, actually. And so I'm hoping that everything will be calm as they go to the ballots to cast their vote and decide on who becomes the flag bearer of the NPP. Because what the NPP needs as it stands now is unity and not division. More stories here. ECOWAS member states must unite in fighting illicit financial flows. This coming from Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. And NDC divided ahead of NEC meeting on party appointees' resignation. That will be all for the Overseer newspaper. The next newspaper is the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic. Blekusu coastline secured, and I know most people are happy about this, especially for those who live at the coastline. This is to prevent the spillage that happens year on. The flood takes over their properties, and this time around, President Mahama says, I'm going to make sure that it stops. And so if you are a person living in the coastline, worry no more. There's not going to be that spillage that will destroy your property again. And this is something Ghanaians have been calling for, especially with regards to what happened recently at NPP. And so people are happy about it. Now, also, we have to know that this particular project was started over 10 years ago. It was halted and now it's back again. And so if it's back, we are hoping that it will be completed because this is all Ghanaians are asking for. Accra, London to chart mutual development path, London mayor says so. And National Delegates Conference, NPP expands electoral college. Voters increase from 220,000 to 280,000. And this is good news in the camp of the NPP. Republic Press newspaper is the next newspaper. NPP must return to grassroots. Brian Champo advocates, and I think this advocacy has been ongoing for a while, not just with Brian Champo, but I think all party faithfuls, those who love the party, the grassroots they are the party. You know what I mean? As much as the leadership holds the party together, if you don't have the grassroots, you don't have the numbers, you don't have the votes. And so it's a call in the right direction that every grassroots must be treated with some form of love. They need to feel that they are part of the party. They need to feel that if they go out there, they speak for the party, and so they'll win more souls for the party. So there's a call in the right direction. During the delegates conference, what reforms they've put together is also supposed to enable the party unite in a better way and also come better or bigger and greater, stronger in 2028 elections. So we'll delve into that when our guest is seated. NPP vows to reclaim power in 2028. I just said it, you know. The whole reform is to be able to reclaim power in 2028. 3 brothers are arrested for impersonating Professor Joshua Alabi in 60,000 Ghana cedis scam in Ghana for. So if you don't fear anything, you go and impersonate Professor Joshua Alabi. Really? Anyway, Interior Minister hails Yohannes Galamsey crackdown as government injects 1 billion Ghana cedis into police operations. Ghana to roll out gold traceability system by 2026, Gold Board CEO Sami Gyamfi says so. I think Sami Gyamfi so far, I would say, is the most hardworking CEO. He's showing receipts anyway, so why do we even, why can't we talk about him? He's showing receipts that he's working. And so kudos to you, Sami Gyamfi. You're doing a very good job. Mechanic sentenced to life imprisonment for killing his own daughter. Sometimes when you hear these things, the life imprisonment is good, but sometimes somebody will say it should be life for a life. That's what people will say, it should be life for a life. But life imprisonment, it's still good. But people will say life for life is better. Anyway, let's do the next newspaper, which is the Daily Democrat. Nothing but truth, that's what their motto says. Akando outlines a bold health sector progress. Stealing in the name of God, report exposes, report exposes cathedral mess. Now, this national cathedral mess, it seems like it's bigger than we think. We are just hoping that if it's so, then the culprit will be brought to book. If it's not so, then may those accused falsely be vindicated in this instance. Police record a major gains against crime and Galamsey. So the police is telling us that they are fighting Galamsey, they are on the right course. I think for Ghanaians to know that this is happening is when we start seeing our water bodies clearing. Then Ghanaians will say, oh yeah, it's true. When we start seeing that our forest reserves are not being mined, Ghanaians will know that it's true. But when we are told without the receipts, Ghanaians will struggle to believe that the fight is ongoing because we want to see the receipts. We want to see that, yes, you are clamping down these illegal miners, but where are the receipts? So let's see the water bodies being cleared. Last year, when we were campaigning heavily against Galamseyers, one thing that we're showing was how the water bodies had been destroyed. So clear it, show it to us, and then all hail the fight. Trasacco land guards arrested over illegal demolition of Pantine residents' house. Haruna reaffirms government's commitment to teacher training, and NPA engages stakeholders on draft petroleum consumer complaints guidelines. That will be it for the Daily Democrat newspaper. The Economy Times newspaper is the next newspaper. The Economy Times. BOG confirms Ghana's economic rebound ahead of this week's mid-year budget review. Headway made in E&P, Azuma Resources impasse amid minorities' concerns. Cut prices, pass savings to consumers. GSS tells traders as producer inflation drops to 5.9. I'm more interested in this one, I must say, very interested. So let me read a bit about it. The latest producer price index has reported a year-on-year producer inflation of 5.9% in June 2025, down from 10.1% in May, making it the lowest rate since November 2023. On a month-to-month basis, producer prices declined by 1.4%. This means that the average price producers received for their goods and services in June were 1.4% lower than in May. The June PPI becomes the 5th consecutive month of drastic drop. However, the Ghana Statistical Service is urging businesses to go beyond price adjustments and rethink their approach. Okay. That will be it for the Economy Times newspaper. The final newspaper is the Chronicle newspaper. The Chronicle newspaper. Mahama plots to remove EC boss. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says so. I think this one, if not even President Mahama, there's been calls from certain people, even members of the NDC have also said, some of them have said, even some members of the NPP have said that the EC is not credible enough, especially with what happened recently in Ablekuma North. And so I don't know if this call is just from President Mahama or it will be from other people. But Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is saying this. Chinese businesswoman vows to exonerate Ashimore in $3 million fraud case. Gold board to roll out gold traceability system, says Sami Jenfi. And the banner headline, which carries Dr. Brian Champon, who is a flag bearer hopeful for the NPP. He's saying that let's unite and rebuild. He tells the delegates as he receives heroes welcome. And that will be it for the Chronicle newspaper. Now, talking about that, let's take the Bible verse from the Chronicle. I love the Chronicle just because of the Bible verse. If not for anything, the Bible verse they give to us is very powerful. And this time is coming from Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 10. That says the Lord God, I will come about on that day, that the thoughts will come into your mind and you will devise an evil plan. Hey, so which one is it? Sing to. That says the Lord, I will come about on that day. That thought will come into your mind and you will devise an evil plan. Is the evil plan, which one is it? Well, I'll leave it like that. I'll say for the discerning listeners or viewers, it's up to you to discern on what the Chronicle is saying. Anyway, so, the weather hasn't been the very best. For some, you love it. Others, you don't. Those of you who live in waterlogged areas, it hasn't been the best for you. Those of you that your roads are bad, this is the time that you are actually not happy with the weather. For those who live in, the smooth areas where the weather, the road is good, they don't live in waterlogged areas, they're saying they're enjoying the weather, the coolness. They don't have to turn on their fan, they don't have to turn on their AC. Now, let me give you a bit of the weather report in this time, because at this point in time, what we need is good weather. So this morning, there'll be mist and fog patches. They expected over coastal, hilly and forested areas with mostly cloudy skies. Light rain or drizzle may occur along parts of the coast and inland areas. For the northern sector, expect thunderstorm and rain from a late morning into the afternoon, and afternoon onward, partly cloudy weather across most parts, but thunderstorms or rain likely in transition and northern sectors. And so today, it doesn't seem like we will be seeing too much of the sun. It looks like the clouds will take over. It's going to be a little drizzle here and there, especially for those of you in the northern sector. But for those of you not in the northern sector, still partly cloudy weather throughout, and also there might be a bit of thunderstorm and a bit of rain, so watch out for that. Very, very important. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone papa for you. Whatever gadgets you're looking for, don't forget to go to Franco Trading Enterprise for that and even many more, because with Franco Trading Enterprise, we've got you covered with all your gadgets. Now today, we want to take a look at the constitution amendment that took place in the camp of the NPP. Over the weekend, the NPP met for their very first National Delegates Conference after that loss in 2024. Now, this was supposed to help them bring unity in the party and also some reforms that will strike out this whole voter apathy that they say affected them in 2024 elections. Now, 56 proposals were made. However, the people agreed on only 54 of that. Now, out of that, Motion 17 and Motion 54 were striked out. Motion 17 sought to amend Article 730 of the NPP Constitution to allow regional executive committees to appoint independent supervisors for polling station and electoral area elections, thereby excluding constituency level officers from that role. Delegates opposed the motion, arguing it risks weakening grassroots participation and oversight. And Dr. Brian Champon has been saying, let's strengthen the grassroots. So this motion was struck out, not by Dr. Brian Champon, but by the delegates themselves, because it was a vote. The next motion that was struck out was motion 54, which proposed redefining youth within the party as members not above the age of 35 instead of the current 40-year ceiling. Now, this was ruled out, and so as it stands now, it will not be changed. So, certain motions that had gone through that everybody said was good, and so as it stands now, this is going to be in the constitution of the NPP. We look at motion 2, Article 3.7. Amend Article 3.7 of the Constitution to give the power to recommend suspension of a member or an office holder pending disciplinary action against him to the appropriate disciplinary committee rather than the executive committee. So this has been passed. The other motion that was passed, another big one, is motion 4, Article 5.6, amend Article 5.6 of the Constitution to adopt the Electoral Commission of Ghana's demarcation cluster of electoral areas. Motion 5, Article 6, the new provision. Now, there's a new provision which has been added on, so it means that it wasn't in the Constitution in the first place, but it's now coming into the Constitution. Now, this is what it says. Amend Article 6 of the Constitution to provide for an electoral area executive committee structure made up of 5 members who shall all be elected, comprising the electoral area chairperson, secretary, organizer, communications officer, and electoral affairs officer. Motion 7. To split or decouple the position of research and electoral affairs officer at the constituency, regional, and national levels of the party. Motion 9, to make communication officers at all levels of the party elected from the polling station, electoral area, constituency, regional, and at the national level. At the national level, the communication officer shall be the director of communications. So this is a new amendment in the Constitution saying that the communication officer shall be the director of communications at the national level. Now, let's take a look at this report with regards to what took place at the University of Ghana Stadium when the NPP met for their National Delegates Congress.
56 proposed amendments were decided on at the NPP's National Delegates Conference. One of the biggest was Motion 35, finally settling the age-old debate over who leads the party. For years, this question sparked confusion and internal tensions, especially during transitions. Some believe the presidential candidate should lead. Others point to the sitting president. A third group argued that the national chairman should be the leader. The delegates have now spoken. The chairman will lead the party at all material times.
Delegates in favor, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Delegates also voted to abolish the Special Electoral College.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
In a major change, the party also upheld calls for anyone in government to resign from party office and vice versa.
This amendment, Chairman, clarifies the process for removal of appointed officers. Submitted.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
2 motions were, however, rejected. First, a proposal to amend Article 730, which sought to give regional executive power to appoint supervisors for polling stations and electoral areas election.
Those in favor of this motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it. This time, the nays have it.
The second rejected motion to reduce the youth age gap from 40 to 35 was also shut down.
I am taking this vote again. Delegates in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. Nay! The nays have it.
Both former presidents produced by the NPP were absent from the conference after earlier calling for a postponement. However, Organizing Committee Chair Joseph Osewusu says the latter gave their blessing following the clarification.
I was invited to the National Council meeting at which that matter was considered. The vast majority of the members didn't think that it was appropriate to reschedule. So the decision was, let's send a delegation to him to explain to him why we cannot reschedule the meeting. And I think that he has accepted that in good faith.
General Secretary Justin Frimpong Kodia says this is the boost the party needed as they prepare for the next general election.
Let our answer be loud. Let it be clear. Let it be bold. Yes, yes. The new Patriotic Party is ready. The new Patriotic Party will use this conference as a tool in our attempt to recapture power in 2028.
The next big step, the flag bearer race in January 2026. Hopeful Osei Educhum says he's in to win.
I have no time to complain. Whether it's from bottom up, top down.
You're ready.
I'm ready, and I'll win this nomination by the grace of God.
Former flag bearer and current aspirant Dr. Baumia believes it's possible for the party to get back into power.
With unity and consistency, we can regain the trust of Ghanaians. If we are fractured and at each other's throats, none of us can cross over and lead us to fulfill this party's purpose.
Minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin says the NPP can recover and rise back again after their 2024 loss.
We are a party of destiny, but that destiny will slip from our hands if we allow this unity, bitterness, anger, and self-interest to consume us.
He adds that the party must rally around those being persecuted by the current NDC government.
Our motto moving forward from today should be, touch one, touch all. When one of us is touched, all of us must rise.
56 proposed amendments were decided on at the NPP.
56 proposed amendments were decided on. However, it's only 54 that was agreed on. And as it stands now, the NPP has 54 new amendments in their constitution. Today we'll delve deeper into it. So for those of you who don't know the two that were declined, let me tell you a bit about the two. Now, the two is motion 17 and motion 54. Motion 17 sought to amend Article 730 of the NPP Constitution to allow regional executive committees to appoint independent supervisors for polling station and electoral area elections, thereby excluding constituency-level officers from that role. Now, delegates opposed the motion, arguing it risks weakening grassroots participation and oversight. Now, motion 54, which proposed redefining the youth within the party as members not above the age of 35 instead of 40 of the current 40-year ceiling. And so that was also not agreed on. Now, this morning, we'll be having conversations with certain people that will help us delve deeper into it. And we are being joined this morning on Zoom by Dr. Kwasi Amakye Boateng. He is a senior political scientist and also a lecturer at KNUST. Good morning, Doc.
Morning.
How are you today?
By the grace of God, I'm good.
Great, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. The NPP had the Delegates Congress or Delegate Conference on that fateful day. This is the very first one that has happened after that defeat, and it was supposed to be for a constitutional reform. What do you make of this?
Thanks for having me, and let me say good morning to your viewers. It was to be expected, actually, given the terrible defeat that the party suffered. And the defeat came out of the abysmal performance of the party in government. Normally, when it happens like that, you want to look at the institutional framework within which the party's officers have been operating. And so you take a second look at your constitution and try to review it and then come up with the reforms, restructuring of those elements in the constitution that, you see as having caused that challenge, because there was, if you like, a disconnect between the party's leadership and the grassroots. And so you expected that the restructuring that was to come out of the delegate conference to address this core issue. It is an issue of lack of participation, excluding the grassroots from participating actively in the party's activities. And essentially, that is what democracy rests on. Democracy in modern societies is a representative democracy. And the representation is done at just one level, elections of officers of the party. And that is the only room for the grassroots to hold the officers accountable. So if you eliminate that out of your structures, what you've done is you've incapacitated yourself, and then your party is not really strong. The disconnect will count. And then added to this is a challenge of money, playing a role that is interesting in the party. And once again, you trace that to the structure, the constitution, the size of the delegates. So the whole idea of delegate system at this level becomes problematic. So generally, I think they didn't really address the real challenge that the party had been facing. They only went in for, if you like, a limited expansion of the delegate system. And to me, that is not enough.
Okay, Doc, so what are the real challenges that the NPP is facing?
It is their inability to expand the voting rights and allow all members of the party to participate in the election of their national officers. It is not just an issue of casting votes. It's also a time for the rank and file of the party to feel as members of the party. That sense is crucial. And at the same time, they also bring in to bear this issue of accountability, holding them, to a check concerning the stewardship in the party. And then the structure also making it possible for people to purchase positions. The corrosive effect of money, which has manifested in the party all the time. These are some of the main challenges.
But Doc, isn't that why there are representations? Because in every institution, there are representations that go in there and helps in the decision making. And so there are, the branch executives and all.
There are who put in place these officers who represent the rank and file. I think that is the crux of the matter. Yes, we work with representative democracy, representative system, but the officers who represent the party should come out of the choices made by all members of the organization, made by all members of the country, if it is a state. In the case of an organization, a political party, you want to empower everybody there to participate in the selection of these representatives. It has multiple impact, effects on the system. That sense of ownership is there. And then this whole idea of money affecting the choices made would be somehow eliminated. If you want to still go that way, you'll be exposed, because you will have to spend so much money then we'll ask questions as to why you're doing that. It turns the political system into some sort of business activities. So people invest there at the primaries level, they come to the national to recoup their money. Then we'll be able to, if you like, come to terms with political corruption in the system. Especially, we know exactly, some of the major causal elements. Besides the greed of the individual, they also see political activities as a business activities. And everything would have been defeated.
Right. Now, for the NPP, they feel that, or the leadership of the NPP, they feel this will definitely position them in the right direction in 2028 elections. Do you agree?
I have difficulty to achieve the desired outcome. But then I think they are praying that President Mahama fails. Talking about right direction in the elections of 2028. They are praying that President Mahama fails. Democratic elections, first and foremost, prioritizes economic outcomes. If President Mahama is able to significantly affect the economy, and also that is in terms of economic growth, and also embark on significant social development, and there are signs he's going to do that. His promise and a dual carriage from Kumasi to Accra. He came to Kumasi to announce several packages he has for the region. If he does, he goes ahead to execute this, and definitely he succeeds. Ghanaians will want to reward the NDC. Economic factors come first. They are anticipating of mobilizing their supporters. If, especially in Ashanti, President Mahama goes ahead with KGTR Phase 2 and the other projects he has promised, he would have succeeded in endearing himself and his party, the NDC, to the region. And I know NDC from then on will take advantage of that and mobilize a strong support base in Ashanti. So the NPP, they cannot count on that restructuring, this partial reform that they have executed in the party, reform that will not take deep-seated factionalism and that high-level competition and conflict from the party. It won't, because the structure they are put in place is going to deepen it. They intend to elect the flag bearer first, and this understanding you get from the position of one Mr. Benson. Then he argues that elect the flag bearer, allow him or her to pick the people he wants to work with. And there, you'll be deepening the charism in the party, effectively splitting, issues there. And that is what they are going to do. That is what they are going to achieve. They will deepen the cracks, the normal fault lines in political parties, because factions are normal development in parties. But then if you go ahead to institutionalize it, you sort of deepen it. And instead of finding, room to bring about unity, what the minority leader so passionately talk about, you will not achieve that, because institutionally you have gone in for a division, dividing the party along factions, lines of factions.
All right, Doc, let's go into the amendments they have agreed on so far. Motion 4, Article 5.6, amend Article 5.6 of the Constitution to adopt the Electoral Commission of Ghana's demarcation cluster of electoral areas. How do you think this could affect them?
Well, that's only fair, because the party cannot come up with its own demarcation. It's fair, it's proper. It enables them to work with the structure which has been functioning very well. And so they can easily reach out to, the members of the party in the various constituencies. That's only fair.
Right. Now, I'll take you to motion 7 right now. Very important. To split or decouple the position of research and electoral affairs officer at the constituency, regional and national levels of the party.
This particular office, I think, is also a move in the right direction, because that office should be autonomous so that they do their work minus politics. Meaning that they go out there, do their research, and then, give the feedback in a dispassionate manner, tell the party exactly what is the situation on the ground. So I think it is an empowering something, or it has an empowering effect on the R&D department.
All right. So now this now tells us that there are two different roles here, two different people playing two different roles, right?
Sure.
Okay. And is this the right thing to do?
Well, it will enable each to go out there, get information that he or she thinks, is out there. And when they come and then give everything back to the party, possibly it will enable them even to, get a better picture of the situation out there. If you have different bodies going in for the same stuff there, do their study, their research, collect data, analyze them, and provide the feedback. I think it will help.
Another big one, Motion 10, it says that to prevent party officers who get appointed into government from continuing to hold their offices, meaning that once they are appointed by the government, they have to let go of their office in the party.
It is also, a move in the right direction. They are institutionally going out there to emphasize the separation between party and government. In most cases, people confuse the two. Even some of the officers think that in governmental positions, they are still operating as officers of the party. And then in the area of allocation of resources to citizens of Ghana, some of them might become partisan. And then some of these things normally tend to have, outcomes and then effects on general elections. I like to believe that it will not only be a structure they are putting in place, because generally in political science, we talk about politics and institutions. So what they put down there is the structure to be the institutional framework supposed to guide their actions and inactions in political office. But what they do when they get the power is what is going to really tell us that they mean what they say. Some people will put down a very neat structure and simply decide to do something else.
Right. Okay, now Motion 43, Article 12, a new provision, amend the Constitution by inserting a new provision to provide that national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, and other government appointees who file to contest to become a parliamentary candidate of the party in a constituency with a sitting member of parliament shall resign their positions at least 12 months to the national general elections. Is also a step in the right direction, right?
It is. Over the years, there have been this issue of abuse of incumbency. There are officers, of the state, and at the same time, they are contesting for, some other positions. Then they use state resources in ways that really, put them in bring them in their actions into disrepute. And so, yes, now that they are going to free them, they will have to mobilize their own resources and work with it.
So then this is similar to, the country's constitution, that if you become a minister, then obviously you can't be a member of parliament as well, right?
That one does not necessarily say so. That is why Ghana's constitution has been referred to as a partial hybrid type of constitution. You maintain your status as a member of parliament while you are a minister of state. That is the position of the constitution of Ghana's Fourth Report.
Okay. All right. Now let's look at Motion 47 as well, where it comes in with amend Article 13(1)(9) of the Constitution to completely abolish the Special Electoral College superdelegate system. The Special Electoral College system, which was introduced in 2009, constitutional amendment to shortlist aspiring presidential candidates, has outlived its usefulness.
You see, the NPP suffers from the tag as being an elite party. And they have structured themselves to look so. they are elitist in their actions and inactions. This really comes to the fore in the area of decision-making, what we call authoritative decision-making. So that particular superstructure they put out there, was getting the elites to impose on the rank and file the people they think qualified to lead them in that capacity. And even now that they have not properly opened up and allowed all card-bearing members to vote, that elitist tag is still there. They try to do something about it. It's only partial. It's not enough. It appears still an elitist party.
So nothing changed with that?
No. Okay. No, they couldn't take those tags off themselves.
Now, let me take you back to motion 46 then, okay? And with motion 46, it says that amend Article 13:16 of the Constitution to provide the national officers, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, and other government appointees who fail to become the presidential candidates of the party, they shall resign their positions at least 24 months to the national general elections.
Yeah, I think this one is similar to the other one.
Similar, yeah. We see it, yes.
Yeah, we related to. And it's only to make sure that you rely on your own resources to contest for the office you're contesting for, and not to use state resources. I think it is good not only for the party, but also for the country.
All right. Now, looking at all of this, could we now say that the choices made at the conference will impact voter turnout in the future?
Like I said, what they have done is review the structure they work with. They couldn't address one major issue, what I call the alienation of the rank and file. You don't allow them to participate in the, major decisions, the election of parliamentary candidates, the election of flag bearers. In fact, the rank and file should also take part in deciding who become leaders at all levels of the party's structure. Once they have not done that, there's a big gap there. That is what basically, at the minimal level, democracy is all about. All of us are not going to be able to take decisions, at a go once the party is in office. But we elect leaders, representatives, at least at that level. All members of the entity should participate in that exercise. If you don't give them that right, forget it. Your democracy is not fully a democracy. You are only putting in place some sort of mechanism which enables the elites in the party to decide for everybody. And that one will not necessarily make you, the body you want to be. That being the case, that will not be enough to enable those members of the party whose role is only to vote in national elections for the party. They will not be strengthened. They will not be motivated. They won't really see themselves as part owners of the party. So that alone, to the best of my understanding, will not necessarily bring, the voters out. Even if it will have some effect at all, the individuals who are going to become the officers going forward, that will also play a role.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
That will also play a role.
Thank you so much, Doc. I'll definitely come back to you for us to have a conversation or continue with the conversation. Haruna Mohammed has joined us, and he is the Deputy General Secretary for the NPP. Good morning, Haruna.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
And welcome once again. I know you haven't had rest. No rest whatsoever. I heard you saying even as of 1 a.m. you were distributing the amendments to some executives, right?
Yes, I was going around to confirm that all of them had conference.
Okay.
And I saw that they were passing and taking So it was quite very tight. So
okay.
That's a very good result.
All right, it's very tiring to put together an event, and Haruna was one of the main persons that put together the very first National Delegates Conference that happened at the University of Ghana on Saturday, where there's been a constitutional reform. What I liked about it is that all the delegates participated in that. So it was voted. If you agree, you say aye. If you do not, you say nay. And some of them, actually 2 of them, they had the nays for it. So for the 2, it's motion 17 and motion 54. Motion 17 sought to amend Article 730 of the NPP Constitution to allow regional executive committees to appoint independent supervisors for polling station and electoral areas and area elections, thereby excluding constituency level officers from that role. And motion 54 proposed redefining youth within the party as members not above the age of 35 instead of the current 40-year ceiling. So these 2 had the nays, but the rest had the yeas. So how did the event go in general?
Thank you very much, Rosalind. First, I would say good morning to your cherished viewership and the leadership of the New Patriotic Party. I think that the event as planned was very successful. And I'll also take the opportunity to thank the Planning Committee Chairman, who is Honorable Joseph Osewusu, whose sterling leadership led all the subcommittees to be coordinated and have a very unified program, such as what we had today. And also the delegates, their comportment, the way, manner they understood the entire process and how we're able to sail through all the motions that we had. And also the amendment committee headed by lawyer Frank Davis, who had taken the time, the pain to go through all the 300 proposals, put them together to arrive at the 56 motions. This is a very, very tiring work because you need to identify proposals that are alike or the same to be able to synchronize them, to have it as a one motion. I think that everybody deserves a commendation.
Right.
The media did very well. The media village was so occupied and crowded, but every dot, every box was ticked by the media. And I want to commend the media. And the security forces, they did extremely well. All of them, ambulance, University of Ghana Medical Center, though we were not able to send somebody there, but they were battle ready for us in case of overflow of medical emergency. It was very fantastic. And I am very delighted, even though I am tired, but I'm happy and smiling.
And satisfied?
Very satisfied, because yesterday we made all the necessary calls and all the vehicles got back to their destinations. So we have our delegates intact, waiting for any other duty to be performed.
Now, I was just speaking with Dr. Amakye, and he was saying that even though you've had this particular conference, he still doesn't see the merger of the rank and file and the elites, because as it stands now, it's as though it's only the elites that still make decisions in the party.
I don't know what angle in which he's looking at it, because it is only a research paper that will be able to establish such stand. Which are the elites? Go and take the polling station executives. How many of them are educated? How many of them has higher education? The polling station electoral area executives constitute 90% of the delegates of the party, and they take the decision. And I can tell you, out of the polling station executives who takes decision, and about 90% of the delegate, most of them are not educated. One thing people don't know is that when you take the NPP, most of the people who takes decision or participate or support the NPP gets an internal education that set to sort that you would think that they have gone to school. But because of the nature and training of the New Patriotic Party, they are trained internally to understand issues and participate in debate. So it is entirely not true that it is still the elite. There should be a very thorough exercise to establish those who take the decision, and more especially the polling station. I can tell you that out of 5, the current 5 that you would take as a polling station, you can go to even a place and all the 5, none of them have had any higher education. So it is entirely not true, because I don't think that unless I am proven beyond reasonable doubt with a document that is being conducted as a research, which is watertight to prove this point, it is always a perception that many put out there. And I don't advise people who have not tested these research questions to be able to conclude on those particular matters, respectfully.
Okay. Now, talking about that, then if you went there to have this amendment, which part of the amendment actually serves in the interest of the grassroots?
You see, first, what people must understand is that this conference is basically to amend the Constitution or restructure some parts of the party through the Constitution. If you talk about the grassroots, I am a member of the grassroots, but I'm serving at the national level. Everybody is a grassroots. However, if you go down, the expansion in the polling, the expansion in the delegates, for example, from polling station 5 to 7, and electoral area 1 to 5, constitute 40% of the data, of the existing data. So that one is basically at the grassroots, because that one goes down to the base. The polling station is at the base. The electoral area is at the base. So the numbers that constitute the 2 and the 4 will swallow the rest of former MPs. How many former MPs? You come to my area in Zabzugu, we have 1 former MP, okay? But check the number of electoral areas. We have 15 electoral areas. So for the time being, how many electoral areas called executives will you have? So you multiply 4 by 15, certainly more than 1 that is just 1 former member of parliament on the side of the New Patriotic Party. Again, how many MMDCs do we have? I use again Zabzugu, where I come from. We have Alhaji Bukari and then John Referee. These are 4, and again, we have Ahmed Idi Adakwa. Ahmed Idi Adakwa, who is the former DCE now. So if you add, there are 3. There are 3. So out of that, multiply again 4 by 15. It is certainly not the same. So the huge increment in the number of votes, and we have about over 80 polling stations, and multiply 2 by that. So you would see that the grassroots, the base of the party, has been given that monumental encouragement to take decisions within the party. So if you do understand the structure and how the amendments have been made, you appreciate the fact that power has been given back to the grassroots with respect to decision-making in parliamentary and presidential primaries. And I do believe that this is certainly something that is very huge. Remember, our aim is not just to stop there. We need to make sure that we get to a time where we have 1 man, 1 vote. And because of the recommendations from the Professor Michael Quay's report, we decided that we cannot get to 1 man, 1 vote now, because we have to take certain processes to get there. So first and foremost, we need to have limited expansion. And that is why I believe that if you are a lecturer or you work in the academia and you teach a subject in school, that subject that you teach Your aim is to get all the models under the subject put into the minds and the teachings of the students. What you have to do is that you would not be able to teach all of them overnight. You would develop models to be able to achieve and also give timelines of how you go to teach them or take them through the courses. It is again, if you are hungry and then you ask your wife to cook for you, when you come, you cannot take the food and put it in your stomach. You certainly have to even wait to let the food cools down, then you start to take marble by marble before you get satisfied. So we cannot achieve one man, one vote now, but we have to take the processes to get to that.
Okay.
And that is why the National Council had given the party secretariat at the party's headquarters to do what we call registration of members and put them into a database that will allow us to get to a period of where we would have one man, one vote because of the tightness of the data.
Okay.
So we are very careful in getting to this particular destination.
So the one man, one vote is a proposal that a lot of people have made, wishing that you get there. How soon do you think you can get there?
We have developed some certain timelines. It's because of these particular processes. I know the General Secretary will soon issue a statement for every party member at the polling station to go and attend polling station meetings. At the polling station meetings, you will record your presence at the polling station, and the registers of the polling station will be used to determine the membership at the polling station level. Once membership is established, which is grounded in the party's constitution in Article 3, then that data will then be translated into the album for that particular polling station.
Okay.
And each and every member who votes at the polling station had the liberty to go and attend and find your name registered in that. That particular database will be used to issue membership cards to party members who have voluntarily come to register at the polling station. And in that essence, if there is any elections at the polling station, that register will be used to conduct. And if you want to contest for any position, you must find your name found in that particular polling station register to be eligible to contest for that particular polling station.
Okay.
You will eliminate that process of somebody being a polling station executive in a polling station that the person doesn't vote. So we are going to streamline that particular data, and that data will continually be what? Be revised, because I may belong to a polling station. I have not gotten the opportunity to go for a meeting at the polling station. So in the event that there is a polling station meeting and I go, then I register my name. Those data will be taken, transferred into the party headquarters database, which is going to be accessible to the party members. Then the party will then develop them as and when there is elections or decisions to be taken. Albums will always be revised because of the continuous entry and appearance or attendance to party meetings.
All right.
So that is how we have to get there. And those processes have been established. And the General Secretary is the one leading that particular process. In his absence is the national organizer. In the national organizer's absence, it is myself who have to lead that charge for this to happen. And all regional chairmen have been briefed on these particular instances. And we have made certain processes to procure machines for every region for the registration and printing of party ID cards. You will remember that we issued a statement suspending the registration of party ID cards. We want to use this particular process to streamline and make sure that the right process and flow of the processes will be very smooth, so that we'll get to the stage where we would have one man, one vote based on accurate data within the party systems.
Fantastic. Now, one of the key proposals was to abolish the electoral college, the special electoral college. Why do you think this was so controversial within the party?
I did not see the controversy at the motion, when the motion was moved. However, you would know when the last time we did the presidential primaries and we concluded on the 4th of November, you saw that at a point we had a tie and you had to go through vigorous election process. And when you are drawing the elections timeline for presidential, you have to draw it twice. You have to start nomination, close of nomination, and there's constitutional timeline with regards to opening and closing of nominations. So when that is done, and there are more than 5, you would have to go to elections, come back again, and then continue from a certain stage when the main aim for that particular process is to get a flag bearer. So if we have to, at this material moment, then it was necessary. But now, majority of the people are of the view that it has outlived its usefulness. So nothing at all happens if you decide that, no, instead of going for a second round to get the ultimate, why not just go for the first round? That's why
just
one of the
round.
product...
Which does it make it more transparent?
Yes, it is transparent. It's just that it was laborious. You have to go through the elections twice. They are now saying that, no, let's just go one shot.
One shot.
That's all.
Won't you then have too many people flooding the system?
Too many people, the vote will decide. If you have 100 and they come, at the end of the day, the vote will decide. Once the election process is fair, transparent, nobody will question the outcome of the elections. Okay. And that is why I always say it as a leader. You can't say that you are neutral because you have a casting vote. But what you demand is that you must be fair. And when you are fair, anybody that loses elections through a fair process will certainly not begrudge you. The person will admit and move on. Okay.
Now let's look at the motion behind voting rights for the regional, to expand regional and national offices and the new electoral area executives. Now, what's the strategic thinking behind this one?
You see, if you have 2 people performing a task, the output is different. The time that they would use is also different. If 2 people are performing a function and they use, let's say, 2 hours to achieve a desired result, you decide to add 3 people to them. You don't expect them to use 2 hours again to finish it. The time will have to come down. Okay. So in terms of line management, you are able to cure that fact that time must be used judiciously. Output must be worked towards faster. And you should be able to work through to have work efficiency and work effectiveness. So increasing the number is to ensure that we are able to get through when it comes to election period. You know that election periods in Ghana starts from 7 a.m. to 5. So within that period, a certain number of people are working. So if this number of people are working and you are not able to get everybody to turn up or to come out to vote, and you are able to increase the numbers of the workforce, certainly you are making strides to be able to get everybody to come out. So the increase in numbers is an increase in human resource base of the party. That will do a better job of an expansion than when the number is reduced. So it is something that is very critical. And I think that increasing that will also bring on more experienced hands, and then with teamwork, you'll be able to achieve the desired results.
Once this then, have more NPP people on the ground, and, you have the NDC also bringing in their people, and in case of conflict, anything could happen, right?
There has always been an election procedure, how people should be represented at the polling station. But there has not been any restrictions as to how people go to house to bring people out to vote.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to the strategies that you have made so far. So far, 2 of them were rejected. And were you surprised, though, at these 2 that were rejected?
No.
Okay.
I was not surprised because any of the other ones could have been rejected if it did not miss the test of time. So once it's a democracy, you don't expect everything to happen the way you want it. I may have a different mind. somebody will also have a different mind. So reading through what they had, they decided that no, this one should go, this one should stand. So I wasn't surprised because it's a democracy. You can't have everything, or all of you cannot be taken the same.
All right. Now, motion 2, Article 3.7, amend Article 3.7 of the Constitution to give the power of the recommend suspension of a member or an office holder pending disciplinary action against him to the appropriate disciplinary committee rather than the executive committee. Now, the executive committee was doing this. Was it creating any problems?
Yes. Yes, because the executive committee was mandated to, first of all, even before there is disciplinary actions or the start of disciplinary actions against you, they can suspend you. The executive committee, not the chairman, not the secretary, not the organizer, the executive committee. Okay. So in this particular instance, when you come to the national party, not the general secretary, not the national chairman, not the first, second, third vice chairman or national organizer, the national executive committee had the power to suspend somebody before referring you, or they can leave you and refer you. In this particular instance, it is requested and approved that the executive committee should not suspend before referring.
The executive committee makes up of?
The executive committee, when it comes to constituency, it made up of all the elected constituency officers and also the appointed officers. These are the executive committee. When it comes to regional, the regional executive committee consists of the elected regional executive members and the appointed members, including all the constituency chairmen in that particular region. And when it comes to the national level, we have the elected national officers, the appointed national officers, the chairman of the Council of Elders, the leader in parliament, as in majority or minority, and all the regional chairmen from all the regions in Ghana represented in the National Executive Committee, including members of the external branch, which was not numbered. And that is why the party's constitution now requested that 3 members of the external branches be part of the National Executive Committee. So these are the constituents of the National Executive Committee, as I explained in the constituency and also the regional executive committees.
And now they cannot suspend unless the disciplinary committee decides to suspend the person.
Yes, they cannot suspend because we have seen that people have unilaterally used the wrong procedures to suspend. So for us to cede that power to the disciplinary committee means that the appropriate references will be made per the instructions of the party's constitution. And when that is made, you leave that power to them to decide the veracity of this crime or misconduct demands that this person be suspended. For example, if it is that there is a constituency chairman who is abusing his office because he's holding that, he's using it for something else, it is the decision of the disciplinary committee to say, no, let's suspend him from being a chairman to stop the continual abuse so that he can pass through the disciplinary process. When the disciplinary process is finished, there is also appeal procedure for the person who is aggrieved or the person who is dissatisfied. So it is proper for me. I think that is a right procedure.
It's the right procedure. All right, let's go to motion 9 to make communication officers at all levels of the party elected from the polling station, electoral area constituency, regional and at the national level. At the national level, the communications officer shall be the director of communications. Were you having any issues with communication officers?
No. It is always known that, you see, when somebody appoints you, you have limitations. But when you are elected, all of you are elected by the same college. So it is not about, oh, we sat down and elected and appointed you. So that role, that power of being elected is different from the power of being appointed. So in the wisdom of the framers and the proposers of this amendment, thought that these particular positions, the communications director position, must be separated and be elected rather than being appointed.
Okay.
There are clear differences with regards to how you remove an appointed officer and how you remove an elected officer.
Tell us the difference.
When it comes to the elected officer at the constituency level, in the previous constitution, you can deal with, at the constituency disciplinary committee, you can take decisions on the appointed officer. But when it comes to the elected officer at the constituency level, decisions must be taken at the regional level.
Okay.
The regional executive committee has to sit and take decisions on an elected officer, unlike the appointed officer. So the appointing body can refer you to the disciplinary committee at the constituency level.
Okay.
And they will take you through the procedures. But for elected, you have to go to region with the regional disciplinary committee to take you through the disciplinary process. Okay. So, and always, as you know, if you have the right to appoint.
Was there favoritism in appointments?
I cannot verify, but people say so.
Okay. People say so. And so with regards to what people said, could it be that those that were favored were not doing the work the way the party was expecting them to do it?
It has always been perception. As I do this work, I was an appointed officer. Somebody might sit down and say that I am not performing well. Somebody will also say, this young man is doing well. So it is perception and opinion based on the person's evaluation.
But has it affected the party's communication in any way?
Probably from the mindset of the people in terms of the number of proposals that has given light to this particular amendment. I believe that the appointment strand in terms of power affects the work of the communication officer. So giving the communication officer, which is key, in every department of the party, communication is key. And that is why we say that the key communicator when you are in government is the president. When he coughs, it becomes a communication issue. When he sneezes, it becomes a communication. When he says something, it becomes... So he's the very first person. He's the key communicator of the party. So you need to make sure that communication is built on a sound foundation where power is given to them to be able to perform their duties. Okay,
fantastic. Motion 10 to prevent party officers who get appointed into government from continuing to hold their offices. What informed this decision?
I think that there is the decision, the justification is there, that party officers who are appointed into government should not be allowed to hold dual positions. So long as they have accepted their appointment to serve in government, they should focus on their mandate in government and give opportunity for other competent party members to occupy their positions in the party. It is also in line with the provisions in Clause 10 of Article 7 and Clause 7 of Article 9, which are intended to ensure that government appointees do not hold constituency, regional, and national executive offices. So in this light, you've gotten an appointment into government. Okay? You have to vacate and go and concentrate, work in government and leave the party for others to also take. Because when you leave, there are processes to fill those particular vacancies. So that at least you will focus here, somebody will also focus here. But you will have a divided attention if you are holding a government appointment and also being a member of unlike what is happening in the NDC. Today, if you have a discussion to sit down here to do, and he said the Deputy General Secretary, you see Mustafa Gbande coming here to sit down as Deputy General Secretary. Today, if they say they want the Deputy Director of Operations at the Jubilee, you will see him coming to sit. So which is which? Is he going to their office, where is their office located? Their headquarters. Is he going there to work or is going to Jubilee House to work? These are conflicts of interest. Okay, so
you realized that, when you had people sending their petitions, right?
Yeah, they don't petitions, it is proposals.
So people sent these proposals because in the past you had it that you had, party officials also having appointments.
No, for us it was a convention. It was not a constitutional provision. Nanabi was National Youth Organizer. He contested National Youth Organizer. When he won, he was a deputy executive director at NSS. He resigned. My boss, the general secretary, he was the CEO of the Youth Employment Agency. When he won, he resigned. So for us, we have not had an executive holding position that has not resigned and remained in government. And in this place, people may misconstrue certain appointments as being in government. There are public service offices which are not necessarily that you are in government. Assuming you are there and you went through public service procedure to be appointed a health insurance manager, you are not in government. You are only being appointed to serve in public service, which is the mode of recruitment in that area is different from when it is an executive appointment. So these are some of the areas that I think that we need to fashion out for people to know that when they say you are in government, these are the positions. So that you will not contradict. Oh, okay, they said, oh, you have been appointed, you are a secretary, you have been appointed to go to health insurance or do this. It depends. If you are appointed to become the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority, definitely you are going to serve in government because your tenure of officer will be aligned to the tenure of officer of the executive president. Unlike CEOs, we know that we are told that per the last court ruling when it was being contested, that CEOs should not be dismissed or leave office with the expiration of the government. But what do we see? They come in, they sack them because the government, the president has the power to appoint and also to do what? To dismiss. And the president does that. So even if the constitution says you should stay, even the one who appointed you has the power to also dismiss you again. You can stay, but the power to dismiss cannot be taken away from the president.
So per your explanation, it means that the amendment is not in full, right? Is it in full?
The amendment.
Per your explanation, yes.
I don't, if you can come again. Is it this current amendment we have done? It's not in force.
Yes.
Is that's what you want? We've given sunshine clauses to the amendment. The amendment as we stand now, apart from the amendments that were made with respect to the polling stations addition, which require election, with respect to the electoral area, which require election, which will take effect after the presidential primaries on 31st of January, which effective date will be 1st of February. The rest takes effect immediately.
Okay, fantastic. Now let's move on to, the general overview of these amendments. What do you hope that it will achieve in future for the party?
There is a lot to be achieved. What people have not taken cognizance is that if you check through some of the amendments, we have amended the party's constitution to include some sector committees where we would have to add expert area or subject area experts with regards to how some of these sector committees are going to be operated, aside the use of only the parliamentary ranking or chairman, either you are in opposition or you are in government. For example, you take the Reverend Intimfojo, who is the ranking member on Defense and Interior. So it's a sector committee. This particular sector committee, he is the one that is there. But if you check, in this particular current constitution, what happens is that he will not be alone. We will get subject area experts to form that subcommittee with inclusive of him. He brings what happens in Parliament. He briefs the entire committee. The subject area expert will also add their voices to whatever discussion that is happening. It will enrich his contribution in Parliament and also enrich the party communication outfit with regards to how you deal and discuss security matters. When we come to economy, other many members of the party who are subject areas, for example, like ACB, they are subject areas. We have other economists who are outside and those who are in government or those who are in Parliament. You gather them, they are able to interrogate the budget, they are able to interrogate the financial positions, and be able to put the government on check or explain better if you are in government or implement the right policies to achieve the desired results. So this is something that is contributory to national development, not just the NPP as a party, but to bring together such people to be able to contribute to such discussions and enrich the discourse of national development.
Fantastic. Now let's go on to this particular one. These amendments have been done. How do we hope that it will help in voting in 2028 for the NPP?
It will help because these amendments that we have done, those we have added, have been given responsibility. Given responsibility because if you are added as a polling station executive, it means that 7 people now would now be in charge to identify NPP voters at the polling station level. It will help them to be able to identify them, know their household, map them, and get more volunteers to add up to them. So first and foremost, identifying them is very key. You used to have just one person coordinating a number of polling stations, depending upon the electoral commission demarcation of the areas that constitutes an electoral area. So if you have, let's say, 15 polling stations forming under an electoral area, you will see that only one person will be handling all the 15 polling stations, coordinating the activities. Now 5 people will be doing so. So eventually, in all the activities that we are going to do, I have tailored how we want to do party membership registration. All these people will be part of the process to ensure that the right things are done, the right identification are done, all the boxes are ticked, and we'll get the right results from that. So after 2028, all these people will have a stake in that. Decision making is key. So these people will add up, and the decisions that they will take will truly represent the people's mind. Because if 50 people was taking decision for you, and now you have, let's say, 300 people taking a decision for you, I think that it will be varied enough to be able to be a true representation. And again, we have had so many discussions in the media cycle in terms of monetization. So if the people are many and you don't have that requisite money, you would have to leave it and face it. So at least it is going to also eliminate some of these particular excesses that we speak against in terms of our political discourse.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me read a few messages that have come in, and then we can say our final goodbye before you go. All right, so Alhaji Hamza Pick Farm says, good morning, Rosalind. Madam, I stand to be corrected. I was sad and worried to see that there was no motion of our brother, the late Ernest Kumi, at least there should have been a minute silent in honor of him, which didn't happen. Why? The minority walked out from Parliament. Simple. The majority raised up the issue of late Ernest Kumi and described the issue as insensitive. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also promised to investigate the violence at Ablekuma North and to punish those involved. The question here is, what has Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia done as a former vice president to bring justice to those who lost their lives in Techiman South and those who were beaten up in Ayawaso West Wogon? A member of parliament was slapped in the face and nothing happened. Even members of the NPP said the NP in question deserves the slap. NPP should give us a break. We have a country to govern. Good morning. Who is deceiving the NPP that Ghanaians will need them again to do what? Or there are still others in the NPP who did not have enough of the looting and that are looking forward to accomplishing that. In fact, if you listen to the minority leader who sold ECG equipment as alumi, who sold, please, did anybody sell ECG equipment as alumi? Okay, so if you don't have your facts right, unfortunately, I will skip your message. Good morning. A decorated monkey, still a monkey. The elephant family can only come back strong if only they stopped promising useless initiatives like NAPCO, SkyTrain, and others that don't bring anything. They will still lose massively again. Their leaders must be humble, respectful, and not engaged to insulting their contenders. Leadership is not about showing arrogance and shouting in rallies that will make me to vote for you, but show me humility and respect that will make me vote for you. Okay, we hear you. One last message and we go. Good morning, Rosalind. I heard a minority leader talk much about the Indian Prime Minister Modi. What the NPP should learn is that Modi did not bury Indian money in the hole. Oh my goodness, wow. Some of these messages that come in. Anyway, Haruna, before you go, I know your people are watching. I know you've worked very, very hard, and I know as much as 2028 is about, somebody will say 3 years, is still around the corner. What message do you have for them before you go?
Rosalind, before my message, somebody talk about justice. And this has been very selective. In by-elections, Cherkoni, people were killed, shot at. Anita De Soso had to climb. People with vehicles in Akwetia, the same Akwetia. By-elections that happened in Talensi, they saw what happened. So they procured injustices. You cannot approbate and reprobate. Certainly that is not possible. And what I will have to caution the NDC is that the arrogance of power is setting in very early. They should be very careful with the way they treat the people of Ghana. No government will be in power in perpetuity. Let's be measured with what we say. We are certainly going to be a very much more responsible government than the NDC because they promise not to loot the properties or the state money. But even in their first budget for 9 months, they are spending 2.7 billion for Office of Government Machinery. But for us, for a whole 12 months, we're spending 326 million Ghana cedis. That tells you Ghanaians should see 2.7 billion. How many times will that money enter? And they have not been able to provide jobs for them. They have to dismiss our people to even put their people in there. And they are not worried. One job, 3 people doing it. They are not even making any effort to get it done. They are still sending messages and full of arrogance in power. They should be careful. We have been punished for that. They will go out anyway, but they should not hasten very fast to go out because they are doing things that are very unnecessary.
All right,
with respect to my last words, I want to once again thank all the NPP delegates, the leadership of the party, the media, the security forces who have helped us in getting all these things done, and also the relevant committees under us, which did the work. We had 8 subcommittees, and then the planning committee and the amendment committee. Fantastic work. The flow of work, the presentation, the clarity in thought, and the vote by the delegates. I was very amazed, very happy.
That's
and
great.
I'll continue to smile and be proud that I was part of a conference that was very peaceful because people were thinking that when we go there, we'll beat each other, come back and peaceful. All that. That's what people were thinking. But we are not the NDC, where Obeda Samoa was whipped, where Big Zidane was whipped, where Francis Essiem, they were whipped. In Kofridwa, then in their Congress, everything was bojo, beatings here and there. But we did not experience it. Thank you. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Haruna. And he is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. His name is Haruna Mohammed. I'm being pushed to ask you a question.
Oh, don't worry, let me come.
I should ask you the question.
No
okay,
problem.
so it's raining today. Will you use an umbrella?
It's not raining.
Okay.
This thought.
Yeah.
I heard somebody wrote a piece that I did not understand what was said, and I had to respond. Probably, I've lectured people even in the university. The person has not been to the university even before.
Right.
I understood what I was doing. There is difference between academia and politics.
Okay.
If I am doing politics, it's not necessarily related. So if I am saying, I have a competition. They mentioned an umbrella. I decided to water it down and move on. Even you saw that I was laughing.
Yeah.
I said, no.
Take a look at this video, though. Take a look at this video.
Yes.
this umbrella to do this.
There's no umbrella here.
Of course, there's no umbrella. But I was saying that you are coming under the umbrella of the party.
No.
But you're coming under the elephant of the party. Yeah. I think that's a very good point that you make. First time they are coming under this umbrella to do this.
There's no umbrella here.
Of course, there's no umbrella. But I was saying that you are coming under the umbrella of the party. But you're coming under the elephant of the party. Yeah. I think that's a very good point that you make. First time they are coming under this umbrella to do this.
There's no umbrella here.
Of course, there's no umbrella. But I was saying that you are coming under the umbrella of the party.
This is all time will permit us for the news flash segment. We have other conversations coming your way as well. Please do stay with us. We'll be right back. But don't forget that Franco Trading Enterprise has got you covered. Whatever gadgets you are looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, worry no more, because Franco Trading Enterprise will definitely serve you with authentic gadgets. You can download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone papa pair fee. Now, I don't know if I should say this is good news for consumers or bad news for retailers, but it looks like for us consumers, we have been complaining about the kind of fuel that is being sold on the market. And finally, COMAC has started conducting mystery shopping audits. And so if you sell fuel, be on the lookout, because there's that mystery shopping audit that is happening. They pop up, they buy your fuel, they do their checks, and they come after you. This morning, I've been joined by the one and only Dr. Riversing Opon, who is CEO of COMAC. Last week, he was on Zoom. This morning, he's been pulled into the studio. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very good. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you so much for joining us.
You have been pulled to the studio today.
Yes, you've been pulled. We had to take a sleep away from you. It's good to have you. Now, this mystery shopping, what informed the decision?
Right. So when I took office last year, it's one of the initiatives that we put through. Mystery shopping is meant to, I would say, visit our member stations unannounced. And I think the first one started from home, which is Accra. And it was an eye-opener for the chamber and, I think the entire industry. We received complaints from both the regulator, which is the NPA, as well as even GSA, who also checks the quantity. We also received a lot of complaints from EPA, which ideally checks the safety measures of the industry. One other individual, I would say, regulator we have is the factory inspectorate, which you don't hear much about them. Checking the safety of the staff, or that's other people working at the stations. So we listen to them, we hear so much, and we're like, okay, why don't we go to the field and understand what is going on?
What's on the ground.
What's on the ground, So we started Accra, we've done Bonga Hafo this year, we've done Eastern Region, we've done Takrady, that's the western part, and just last week, towards the weekend, we did the Volta region.
Nice.
And it was really, apart from the safety aspect or the protocols aspect, I think Volta came with a lot of data.
Okay.
And a lot of information that we need to have a lot of discussion with the NPA going forward.
What has the findings been so far?
So the findings, and I think one of our KPIs that we score very high for last year was the fact that because of the mystery shopping, our members had to actually sit down, and do things right. Because the chamber is their mouthpiece. Once they call, they complain, you go to MPA and then fight the MPA on their behalf. So when you now go and see what they are doing wrong, and they call you, say, guy, I saw you do that, so why are you calling now? And I think this month we had a safety week celebration, which was very much attended, full house for the entire week. MP was part, all our members were present. And we make sure that the full attendants know what to do and what to do at any point in time. So these findings, apart from the safety and quantity that we check using a 10-liter can, I believe one of the things that we realized is that most of the stations are just lying idle, selling nothing. And
they're selling nothing.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So one of the stations we had an encounter with was so blunt with us that there could be a day that he sells no even liter. Yes. And I have a video of it. I asked the person to make a video.
What could be the reason?
Yeah, there are too many outlets.
Right.
Yeah. And that's something that we actually been having discussions with MP. The number of retail around the country is getting too much, and even the number of OMCs, more than 245. Last 2 weeks, we had Bloomberg visitors at our office. And as part of our presentation, we mentioned that we have 245 oil marketing companies and LPG marketing companies. And the entire West Africa said Ghana. She was shocked.
Yeah.
The whole country. I mean, we have a lot of
Africa, not even West Africa.
This Ghana.
Yeah.
And we are more than Nigeria. Look at Nigeria's size. Look at Nigeria's population, and that's why we see all these more practices among our members, because there's huge competition to survive. You know, and we are really watching MP if they're going to license any new OMCs. We're going to have a discussion around it. You know, and also. Once there's high competition, that's when people tend to cheat consumers, which we frown on as a chamber.
Did you also realize or notice pump irregularities? This is something
exactly
that
that's what.
about.
So that's the quality I mentioned.
Right.
So we saw one of our member, to be fair, selling far below the threshold. And we have videos of it. We're going to engage GSA to go there today. Okay. I've already called the GSA boss, so I believe that today they'll be on their way to Keita and that side of Volta, where we saw that discrepancies. And I believe there are systems in place which you and I are paying for, which is something we call the ATG. So that's automatic tank gauge system that MP has installed in all the filling stations. I mean, almost all. And one of our findings, again, was the fact that more than 80% of these stations had their ATGs not working. So this is one of the things that can check your pump so that they are effective or not, any calibration for that matter. So if you know that this morning your stock was, say, 10 million liters, for example, just a number, or 10,000 liters, and on your dispenser you sold this amount of liters, and there's discrepancy, you should know that your dispenser is not...
There's a problem.
There's a problem there, because there's one dispenser dispensing apparently 8.5. That's the person is cheating 1.5. There's another dispenser in the same station dispensing 11. So he's shooting he's selling the food and also cheating the client at the same time. So one of the letters writing to MP today is find out why these ATGs are not working and what can be done about it, because it's something you and I are paying for.
Yeah.
Once you pay or buy fuel, you are surely paying for this ATG cost.
Now, not just that, did you also check how they store the fuel? Because it's another problem.
Yeah, so that's the first thing we check. So if you see us walking to the station, the first place we go is to find out who the station master is, because you cannot just walk and do our inspection. They'll come attack you anyway, even though they are members. You need to just introduce yourself. And then we said, okay, we are here to check you. So from there, we walk straight to where the tanker is. Check whether there are water seepages, to make sure that there's no water entering the tank, and and ask them how often they calibrate the tanks, and also check for corrosion.
When you check that, did you find certain, people not storing their fuels well? Yeah,
so because we don't go with I would say mechanism that can detect leakages or not that, but with the eyes you can see certain things.
Did you notice anything?
Yeah, we do. So some stations will surely have water in their tank because of how the system is, and we always advise that they get it done. There's one station we went in the Eastern region, we had to call the regulator to go there immediately because it was buried under a system where water was, you could see water entering. So,
and they sell this fuel to people.
No, but so the beauty of it is that the water will surely come from somewhere, not on top. The water will settle on top. Yeah. So we just need to plug it out.
But it's still, this one breaks the engine, isn't it?
Easily break the engine, yeah.
So what is going to happen to these retailers that are flouting the rules and regulations?
Yeah, I mean, I think you heard the NPP boss recently make a concern, which the chamber agrees with him entirely. When stations are built without approvals and they go and pay the fines and get it approved. And I think most of the cases stem from there. You should get the right approvals, the setting up, the tanker barring and everything before you get approval to build. Most of the stations we saw, to be honest, had their systems checked to prevent water entry. They are mostly high up, so you don't even go there and ask so much question. But those that are below, you should going to find out if they've checked the water system. The water was showed today.
Right. Where's the next stop?
We don't say. So we
the mystery shopping.
It's the mystery shopping.
Okay.
We have a next stop, but we don't normally say it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Comac, congratulations on it. And aside, there's anything else you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we keep on engaging the government. We have a lot of engagement to GRA coming this week concerning the One City implementation. Pending issues we are addressing. We have a lot of, based on this visit shopping, have engagement to NPP, I believe, this week. And also, I also want to say to all regulators, please, when you go to our member stations and they ask for your ID card, please show it. Recently, there was a theft case in Brunga-Hafo. Okay. The people went as if they were players of the industry. We've heard that the Ministry of Labor, or whatever they call themselves, are going to our member station unannounced also. Please engage, let us know what you want from our members, and we'll guide you throughout. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rufus-Onopo. We are very grateful. And he is the CEO of Comac. And so the mystery shopping could be, happening to you very soon. So if you own a shop, not just a shop, but you're selling fuel, you're a retailer, this is where, as a station selling fuel, this is when you have to make sure that you keep up to all the safety measures and you don't find yourself wanting. But congratulations to Comac for making sure that we, the consumers, are safe and buying the right product, that's the right fuel.